This podcast is brought to you in association with From Sweden with Love, one of the oldest fan sites dedicated to the world of 007. Online since 2004 and also on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Why not check them out today? James Bond 007.se. Nobody does it better. Or as they say in Stockholm these days, ingen gör det bättre.
Every film every stunt every story Ever heard of Evel Knievel? Welcome to the YouTube series. I'm John Orty. I'm a stunt historian, author, broadcaster and producer, and I'm the man behind the stunts on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Welcome to this series of YouTube shorts dedicated to the action and stunts in the James Bond films. My new book, Ever Heard of Evel Knievel, is the definitive guide to everything action-packed in the film franchise. The coordinators, the stories behind these incredible moments, all captured on film. We'll talk through some of those great stunt sequences and a few you may have missed along the way, so buckle up. You could be in for a bumpy ride. The book, podcast and YouTube series are also to be used as educational tools to learn from and to wonder at. It's 1964 and time for the Bond film that many fans the world over consider the very best. Me, well, I'm much more of a Thunderball fan when it comes down to Connery's first 4 outings, but luckily for me the plot makes no difference to analysing the stunts or the action. So, with that in mind, here goes. So, we first see Bond disguised as a rough-looking bird. Well, the bird in this case is a seagull, and it's on the head of stuntman George Leach. Before it turns into Alf Joint and jumps down from the wall onto the guard, played by stuntman Peter Brace. After the explosion, it's back to the banana bar for a little bit of unfinished business with his damp damsel Indy Bath.
Oh,
Forgive me.
why do you always wear that thing?
I have a slight inferiority complex. Where was I? Oh, yes.
Stuntman Alf Joint plays Kapungo, who sets out to attack Bond, but it doesn't go according to plan. So, here's the attack, and Alf is kicked halfway across the room. Bang! There's the furniture smashed across Sean's back, and Alf was due to double him. Here is my favourite moment. Look, over the top and down the other side. It's random, but it's there, and it doesn't even need to be in the fight, but it's very exciting. Here's the shot again. Let's look at it in slow-mo. As soon as he starts to throw, that's Sean Connery and Alf Joint. Now, as soon as he starts to throw that punch, there's an edit. There. Now, that is Bob Simmons doubling Sean Connery. And look at the height he gets. He launches himself. He's doubled by Simmons because Alf leaves a knee behind right on the shoulder there, so it could have injured him, and lands on the floor, and look, has no padding, and certainly nothing on the shirt that would suggest padding being worn at any point during that. It's a small space, it's a confined space, so they have to really make do with what they've got. And Bob Simmons, of course, as we know, is the master of being able to utilise small spaces and get as much out of a fight as he possibly can. He now throws him from one side of the room into the bathtub, and this is where the final moment, he's reaching for the gun, he can't get to it, and Bond, swish, hits that, and the fire goes into the water. Now, it's an electrical effect. There are lights in the bottom of the bathtub which cause this effect here. But look, there is a cable, and Alf said himself the heat from that cable was enough for him to react for real. So that expression on his face, that's not acting. That is him really saying, look, I'm in serious pain here, but I've got to stick through the rest of this scene just until we get the shot done. It's a very exciting shot, and of course then leads itself to one of the finest lines ever uttered by Sean as Bond.
Shocking. Positively shocking.
Now let's take a look at some high work from Bob Simmons, and one of the best falls as far as many of his peers are concerned.
You can be a hero, I'm not. No.
So here is the shot of Harold Sakata throwing the actor out of that little section of the set. Now, the next shot we're going to have a look at. Here's Bob launching himself from the top. Look at the positioning of the camera. The camera is positioned just in front of the landing bed. Bob will have been asked beforehand, where do you want it? The cameraman would have said, where do you want this positioning, Bob? Where's the best place to catch this? And he said, well, chances are, I think the best place is to have it right underneath. Let me fall right over the top of it. Let's have another look at it again. He gives a big push. He's probably had a little bit of a run to get himself over the top. Over he goes. Now watch the frame. Frame's moving. So it's not being used automatically. That's somebody manually down there watching him as he goes. And check the shadow out just on the right hand side on the wall, and you'll see that as he just goes out of shot, now the bed is just behind, and that's where he makes that initial landing. It's superb. Now also check out this fight. This fight has always bothered me slightly because everybody said to me, oh, it's Bob Simmons doubling. It's not. Look at this here. The shape of the actor, the height, compare it with the double, it's completely different. The hair is all wrong. And now, as we see him landing, we notice that it's not him, it's actually our old friend Peter Perkins. And we'll spot it again in this next scene. Perkins is now doubling for Sean Connery. Why he couldn't do this, I don't know. Look, that's very clearly there. That's the only reason why the whole shot was used. So he gives him the punch. Well, look again. He picks up this wooden looking look. Connery, there's Connery very clearly, and then there the big switch to the stunt double. It's very clearly Peter Perkins. You recognise that chin and hairdo anywhere, and he's very tall, Peter Perkins. He's much taller than Bob Simmons would have been. And then this is another reason for proving that these fights are filmed in a number of ways. The actors fighting, the stunt doubles fighting, and then pickup shots. Well, here's a great example of the editor using the shot and then bang, cutting to the Connery Sakata edit that he has, and then allowing Harold to punch his way through that, whatever it was he had in his hand, the punch, and then of course he throws him out of shot. Again, used there, that's Perkins, and then he's thrown out of shot and slides away. But one thing that's interesting to point out here as well is that, of course, these photographs are very, they give the impression. There's Bob Simmons there on the left of shot, but that's William Baskerville, who is Connery's stand-in. He's not a stunt double; he's a stand-in, and he would have been used in this sequence to place him in the shots on behalf of the director. So, there we are. That's your lot for this week. More next week. And don't forget to subscribe and follow Behind the Stunts on all the social media platforms so you can be kept up to date on the world of action and stunts. Until next time, bye for now.